Hello, I'm Marc Skovby and today I'm tying this fly. This is the Marabou Flu. It's a very soft and very lively salmon fly for our Danish streams, which have proved very efficient or effective over the last decade in our Danish salmon rows. So first, take a short piece of tube and melt a color. And slide it onto the needle. Then we take a 4mm bead. That will be the body of our fly. The bead will both add some weight to the fly, but also support the soft marabou hackles from collapsing in the current. Just lock it in place with the thread. Then we take the first marabou hackle. Make sure to only use the tip of the hackle. See, the fibers are very fine, all the fluff is gone. And we're going to tie the feather in at the very tip. Tie it in up against the bead. And you take your scissor and you sort of break the fibers on one side of the feather, like this. These marabou hackles, the stem is very fragile, so the first wrap needs to be, you need to be quite careful. You can pull on it, but don't pull too hard. As you go into the second wrap, you can start to add some more pressure to it, because the stem gets thicker and stronger. So be careful when you tie it down, not to catch too many fibers. And cut off the stem. Then we take just a few strands of flash. Then we take it on the middle, wrap it around the tube, and tie it down. Then we have the flash on both sides of the fly. Trim it off a bit. Then we move on to the next feather, which is also a marabou feather. We do the same once again. Cut off the tip, tie it in at the tip. Make sure to tie the feather in very close to the first hackle so you don't get any gaps. And that will be the same when you're wrapping the hackle. Make sure to wrap it very tight up against each other. And be careful not to make too many wraps. The fly should be fairly lightly dressed, so that all the light from the sun will still be able to penetrate it and reflect all the other colors. If your dress is too heavy, in the end it will only be the top color which will really be visible. So make sure to not keep it, or to keep it fairly lightly dressed. And now we take 4 fibers from Amherst pheasant. They create a little bit of contrast. They're actually quite stiff compared to the marabou, but once they get wet and get into the current, they actually take the same shape as the marabou, and even there's only 4 strains in there, they're quite visible due to all the dots and the contrast between, in this case, the yellow and the black. Try to split them equally around the fly, so they have the same distance. On this fly there's not really any upside or downside. The fly will look exactly the same no matter which direction you're looking at it. So if the fish see the fly from below or from the side, the fly will look the same. Trim off the ends. And we're ready for the last marabou hackle. And we do the same again. Break the fibers with the edge of the scissor, but be careful not to break the stem. Wrap them, each wrap very close to each other. So this was the marabou part. So it's a very lively material, and this is the part which will swim. To prevent the marabou from collapsing in the current, we need a front hackle, and for that we're going to use a hen hackle. The hen hackle is a little bit softer than a rooster hackle, but it's more dense, so it sheds the water or the current way better than the rooster hackle, so that's why we use the hen hackle. Even this fly is made for our Danish salmon rivers, which are, compared to, for example, Norwegian rivers, quite slow. You can still fish this fly in really, really fast water. It's just a matter of how many wraps you wrap your hen hackle. For most situations in the Danish rivers, I use 3 to 4 wraps. If you're fishing in a fast-flowing river, you can step it up to 5 or 6. That would add a lot more bulk to the fly and prevent it from collapsing in the fast current. And again, make sure to make the wraps tied up against each other. Just a couple of wraps here to control the fibers. And then we finish off with a small disc. Again, depending on which water you fish and how much volume you want in the fly, you can choose a smaller or a larger disc. I go with a 4mm disc, which I think is perfect for the Danish rivers. Cut off the thread. And push on the cone or the disc. And we cut off the tube. So we got 1 to 2 millimeters. And then we melt it down. And that's your Marabou Flu.